Start talking now. It's me, Cord Maskey, publisher of Yankee T News, coming to you on Monday, June 29th, the year of our Lord 2026. So we have quite a few hot issues. I wish you could have seen the discussion before we went live. We're a little upset over Ben Proto, and we're trying to decide just how guilty he really is. So we've got different takes on how he handled or mishandled Aaron Stewart, and his relationship with Ryan Fazio, whether it's real or imagined, and other fine subjects. But anyway, maybe we'll get back to that later. But I'll use that as a segue into the theme tonight, which is Connecticut's shame. Connecticut's shame would in fact be Ned Lamont, okay? The noise, okay, the rumbling, the complaints that are building up with each passing day, and the run up to, well, I think that exhibit's there now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so just now we're beginning to learn about the miserable, disgusting, appalling, ridiculous, vacuous, insipid piece of crap for an exhibit that's in the booth for the extraordinarily great state of Connecticut at the great American State Fair. And we're a little fried, ladies and gentlemen, and that would include me. Now, shout out goes to Reese on the radio, who's going to be down there Friday and Saturday. Shout out goes to Betsy McCoy, who'll be there. Shout out goes to, what was that guy's name who was running for you? Jaden McCormick. Shout out goes to him as well. And we sit here and just wonder what we can do as well, but I guess making noise about this is a good start. Okay, these people, Ned Lamont to begin with, Shapiro from Pennsylvania, these other ass clowns from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine. Yeah, Mills from Maine. This is their answer, okay? They will deprive you of a moment of honor. They'll deprive you of anything that makes you feel proud about yourself just because they have to be so petty in their attitude towards President Trump. So they try to politicize something which is legitimately a part of our celebration as 250 years as a nation. That just shows you that they don't care about this country. Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Let me go back to the editorial. Shout out to Tony D'Angelo. Do you know Tony? Yeah, I haven't met him yet, but this is a really great article that he wrote, Tony D'Angelo. So his thing starts out, Connecticut hates America. Well, let's be a little more specific, Tony. That would be Ned Lamont hates America, okay? Ned Lamont hates Connecticut and he hates America, even though he's running for re-election. And so this goes on. God. Okay, so how about if I just end this point on a positive note? And that is that we have people going down there. I believe some others are going to show up as well. And we're going to do our part to help publicize this, cover it as much as we can. And just point out that Lamont is a real jerk. I mean, there's got to be another word. Have we got another word besides jerk for Lamont? Anybody got one? Come on. What's the matter with you guys? Don't you have any good adjectives here? Bereft, feckless. I'll go for demented, delusional. Delusional might work. Okay. Communistic loser, socialist. I'm sorry. Anyway. Inept. Well. Okay. I'll grab the inept one. So people have been making fun of the point that he has been talking about how he's getting ready to roll up his sleeves because he's just getting started. Oh, really? So if we look at what's been accomplished with the state in the last 8 years, and oh my goodness, Connecticut the New Haven Register has this article about how it's like he's working an economic miracle for Connecticut. Give me a break. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is it's hard to get really good information about the economy of the state of Connecticut. Hard, all right? When you have the St. Louis Federal Reserve reporting that Connecticut's economy had shrunk, okay, for 8 years, and now you turn around and you have these guys from the Bureau of Economic Analysis saying the economy's grown, who are you gonna believe? So I don't know. I don't know. And the argument that the population of the state has grown, again, by how much? All right? He keeps to have these newspapers blowing smoke up your ass about this stuff is really appalling as far as I'm concerned. I got to take a breath. Okay, let's pick up on the other stuff, like it wasn't bad enough already.
Oh, by the way,
yeah?
You know that Governor Lamont, I think it was 5 years ago,
yes,
started a commission, state commission,
odd,
to plan for
yes.
the 250th anniversary of the founding of America.
Oh, really?
So the idea that we didn't have time to have a booth at the fair is wrong, because there was a commission appointed by the governor whose sole job was to do things like this.
Well, is this commission still around?
CT250, I believe.com.
Well, right now I'm not in a position to look it up, but maybe if you could check it out, CT250.com. We're going to have the research department here, okay? Alan, our vice president of research, is going to yank that news up for you. Okay, so if I may, let me just get through the other stuff. Iran, let me start with the big one. It's called Kiss and Make Up. Is it possible that America and Iran are going to kiss and make up? Yeah, so go figure. Go figure. Iran attacks Kuwait and Bahrain, but as the story goes, they go to America and say, well, could we meet in Qatar, please? And I find this very interesting because Qatar is a country that's been trying to make itself more of a presence in the world, and sponsoring things like the World Cup for soccer and other things. Okay, and now they're going to have the peace talks in Doha, in Qatar. I don't know. What do you think? It'd be nice if we had people commenting on this. So, kiss and make up. I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, let me just state the obvious. We have been subjected to, and we will continue to be subjected to, these people blowing hot and cold, all right? Call it a love-hate relationship, call it whatever. Now, while this meeting is gearing up for God knows what, and by the way, the Wall Street Journal today has an editorial claiming that Iran is winning the battle in Hormuz. I'm not sure that's true. I wish I had more data, but I'm not quite sure that's true because, again, part of the problem. So anyway, the piece of information I have, shipping companies are reevaluating the risk profile, and they're deciding that it's worth it to traverse the Strait of Hormuz, on the Oman side. What a surprise. So there have been attacks, yes, but you have to weigh. So if you've got 50 ships going by and 4 drones get launched, a lot of people are not going to get touched by this. So they just keep going. Just saying. Yeah, so anyway, so the next thing is there are people who've asked this question. I'm just saying, negotiating with terrorists. Are you out of your mind? Okay. And J.D. Vance has certainly been seen as the how should I say it, is being tapped as the leader in trying to establish or build out these negotiations with the Iranians. They're not, how do I deal with this? Again, I have to go back to the argument about blowing hot and cold. And I've had this discussion so many times with other people, all right? Especially Jason, if he were here. And the argument is, basically, Jason's taking the position, what are we going to do something? When are we finally going to take action? Blah, blah, blah. Well, as one person said, it takes time to plan, as in an insurrection. It takes time to deploy resources, as in an insurrection. I think it's fair to say that people are not ready. And there's a general consensus, which is not being expressed very, very powerfully here. So I'll express it powerfully. There has to be strong domestic fight, and the word is fight. So yes, unfortunately, like it or not, I have my issues with him, but Prince Pahlavi, I just don't think he's the guy. But when there's nobody else, it's kind of like Rumsfeld's old argument. Instead of the army, you go with the leader. Instead of the leader you want, you have to go with the leader you have. So this is what the Iranian people are confronted with. So you have all of that going on in the background. In the foreground, the fight over Hormuz, and then finding these, these ayatollahs going back and forth, blowing hot and cold. Anyway, so I put up a link here for. There's another website I recommend. It's Iran International. So it's IRANINTL.com. So you go check that out. Meantime, let's shift now to Ukraine. A Ukrainian drone destroys military supply train in Crimea. Okay, it was a rather colorful display, and as the report, it was a rather large train. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it just seems like we're still in this very long, slow, drawn-out drama over understanding the disposition of the forces in Ukraine and Russia. So, for a long time now, we've had a lot of people saying Russia's winning, Russia's winning, Russia's winning. But meantime, they have not been paying attention to how Ukraine has been improving its technology, scaling up its drone production, and developing even more tactics for pushing back against Russia. This other attack recently outside of Moscow, that was a big one. I'm just saying. So, my sense is that Ukraine continues to be strategic, and Russia does not. So that's the way I put that. Meantime, I want to shout out for homeschooling. Look, in Connecticut, we had a law recently passed that's supposed to attack the homeschooling community by requiring that they register with the DCF. So I want to take a moment before I describe this link to you, ladies and gentlemen. What's the matter, Eric? We good? Okay, keep going. We're good. Okay. You see, our senior executive producer with the gray hair keeps looking. So when he's looking, I worry. But I guess we're okay. So, first of all, before I get into the good part here, all right, I'm going to set it up this way. I saw a link somewhere. I'm going to promote this link. I'm going to push this link. The link said, do not comply. Do not comply. Do we know what we're talking about? In this context, it's do not comply with these insane tyrannical laws that the state of Connecticut has passed. So what do not comply looks like in terms of day-to-day conduct, we'll get that worked out. But in the case of homeschooling, ladies and gentlemen, the message of do not comply simply means that the parents will not subject themselves to scrutiny by the DCF. They will not sign up with the DCF. This is by far the worst agency in the state. They cannot account for over 1,000 missing kids. I don't know do you know anything else that's come of that with DCF?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Oh yeah, no.
They have a long history of screwing up cases.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so.
The case that is being used to vilify the homeschool parents.
Right.
Let's not forget, was actually not a homeschool case.
That's right.
Somebody who was keeping their kid prisoner in a cage.
Right.
Until he was in his 30s and he lit the house on fire to escape from his evil stepmother. Sounds like a freaking fairy tale.
Okay. And so in that time, DCF was never able to figure it out.
Well, DCF claims they were never called until they found the high school or to the elementary school principal says, well, I personally called them.
DCF is an apparatus of the state. So.
It is very much so.
The state's answer to the state's failure is the state will fix the state's failure.
Okay, so on the issue of do not comply, so I mean, he's just scratching the surface, ladies and gentlemen. There is so much, and it is my sworn promise, we're going to reveal everything about the DCF. I got to take a deep breath. Okay. Do not comply. I find it interesting. When I did a research on do not comply in Connecticut, you want to know what the first two things are that came up? You're going to love this. The first was when Governor Lamont said, we're not going to comply with federal laws for dealing with illegal aliens. We're not going to work with ICE. We will not comply. Oh, the governor of a state in this nation loudly proclaiming that he will not comply. All right, now it gets even more interesting. a woman named Charlene Russell Tucker, I think is her name. She is the head of the State Department of Education. And you may have seen this in the news. She sent a little love note to Governor Lamont saying, we cannot comply with your directives concerning the DCF. Now, whether it's because they're not set up bureaucratically for it or what, but she said, we cannot comply. So like, hold on a second. WTF, right? Two leading figures in the state of Connecticut who are supposed to be the ones who enforce the law say, we do not comply. Is that AI? We do not comply. I can't say it enough, all right? So what's my message to the parents? Maybe you'd like to take a clue from our fine governor and choose that you too will not comply, all right? So our governor who's running for re-election is promoting chaos and anarchy by refusing to comply. He thinks he's such a wise guy. He's following all these dumb liberals and progressives in this state, and this is what you get every time.
Celebrating Pride Month.
Well, that's the least of it. Believe me, that's the least of it.
I know, but
So
it's just...
it's a shiny object, okay? You have to focus on the real issues.
I know, but that's what they're focused on. Like,
Okay,
even
fine.
some you get
So
some
I'm going to
people-
follow stupid people around?
No, of course not.
Okay.
But calling attention to the fact that our people who are running for elected office, like this Republican, I can't know her.
Yes.
Is running around waving the rainbow flag, going to these rainbow events, and
Okay.
you know, as well
Fine.
as
Because it's not about what the flag is, it's about who can be seen in the right place with the right people.
All right, okay. And so this just makes it even less relevant as far as I'm concerned, okay? We have an issue here. This stupid homeschooling law is supposed to be enacted in 2027, so they're supposedly giving them enough time to set up whatever bureaucratic mechanism they have to. But in the meantime, okay. Okay.
You let him know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We get support from our honest and the damnedest places, but we'll take it. That's funny. In case you haven't figged it, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to remind you, we are at the Parkway Diner in Stamford, Connecticut. There are some other tables, people leaving, sitting around, and
the oil,
no,
the
no,
oil executive.
no, the executive vice president in charge of conspiracy theories has arrived. So we may have a few things that we need to check in with him about.
North Star Oil.
Yeah,
CEO.
he too has fantasies of documentaries dancing in his head. Okay,
It's only a conspiracy theory until it's proven
all
right.
yeah, there's that too. All right.
All conspiracy.
All right,
So I think
Do
we
not-
should
all right,
point
let
out
me-
that another diner from
guys, I need to move on here. I need to
came
move
up
on.
and said Friday.
Yeah, okay. All right. I need to move on. All right. So I just, having said this, set this all up. By the way, I want to enter an optimistic note in the middle of this troubling time for homeschooling in Connecticut. That is the fact that when you look at the data from 2020 to the present, the size of the homeschooling community in this state has grown, and it has grown dramatically. There are now 7 chapters in each of our counties, or thereabouts, where there's for homeschooling. And the membership in each of these groups is at least 1,500, okay? So we're talking about a large number of people who are committed to homeschooling. Good luck, Lamont, you effing jerk. So, if you're still in office when the time comes. All right, now,
You know what I think is going to
hey,
come up
can
to
I,
this?
like, we'll get on this, all right? All right, I need to bring up Catherine Beerball Singe, all right? Anybody who is, following us, go to yankeet.news, look at our links for this week, look at this video. She is tagged as the strictest headmistress in the UK. She puts up a very spirited defense of Western culture, and that's putting it nicely, okay? If she had to be the opportunity to be a pit bull, she would do it, and she wouldn't think twice about it, okay? So I'm going to just take what I think is a pull quote from, okay, a pull quote from her speech, where she said, the people who have pursued this oppressor of education, where they have now forgotten to teach right from wrong, has produced a way of looking at the world that is essentially a flat, two-dimensional image of the human experience. I thought that a fabulous line on her part, so thank you, Ms. Beerball-Singe. Moving on. Okay, election fraud. Bitch, berries, ballots. Did you hear about the bitch who buried the ballots?
No.
Long Island. Yes, the bitch who buried the ballots in Long Island. First name's April, forget last name. But yeah, she was having a little problem. By the way, on the issue of election fraud, it didn't get to include, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh. Here, thanks. All right, here we go. This is priceless, ladies and gentlemen. Where did it go? Come on, I need the, I guess, does it sit here? Yeah. Okay, look, I'm going to get to the point that there's election fraud in Connecticut, and I don't want to disappoint, okay? So I'm looking for page 1 for today's New Haven Register. Where's page 1? There it is. Got it. Okay, here it is. I love it. Okay, here you go. Can they see the title?
No.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. This is a classic example of when the Democrats eat their own. When the Democrats eat their own. Gee, so here was this woman, a Democrat, who had to, she got shafted by her party members, but she still wanted to run for Democrat registrar, and it was Hamden, right? I believe?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So, yeah, Hamden. Okay. So she had a petition drive. Takes the petitions to the registrar's office. Oh, what happened? They lost the petitions. Oh, we don't know what happened to them. Oh, this is what Democrats do.
Put them somewhere.
Yeah, maybe in the garbage. Okay, so you got two. You got two. You got the bitch buries the ballots in Long Island over a Board of Education election, and you got this, all right? So there's more, don't worry. These people belong in jail. They belong in jail. All right, who here has heard about the Citizen Vigilante movie? You've heard it?
I just read an interesting...
Yes, that's right. Okay, as one title suggested, governments should fear this movie. Okay, so all those governments who are...
certainly did.
Yes, that's right. Well, as should others. So I have a link up about that. You want to go check that out. Meantime, 65% of immigrants on temporary protective status in America are on welfare. Let that sink in. Now, this other thing here, I'm calling BS on this, is China accelerating AI development. There have been a couple of these fear-mongering articles as far as I'm concerned. And yes, you can be sure that the communist Chinese are doing everything in their power to spice up their AI development capabilities. And so, for example, Super Microcomputing, I think it's the name of the company, it's a Taiwanese company, has been accused of smuggling the high-end chips from NVIDIA into China. So that's another little suggestion. But I think there's more to this. Again, the Chinese are proving that they're very good at what we'll call low-value proposition technology. So they're just going to do more of that. They're going to keep trying to eat away at our market from the bottom. It's a classic technique.
And they know how to scale it as well.
Well, that's up to the people who buy it. You know, they're the ones who have to scale it.
When I mean scale is they know how to take something and then make lots of it.
Well,
very rapidly in a very short period of time.
Okay, well, I can do that too. It's called copy and paste, all right?
No,
so,
I'm talking about hard manufacturing.
You're talking about software.
No, hard manufacturing. They can also manufacture all the components, the boards, and all that stuff very, very quickly.
And very cheaply, yes. Okay, well, this is why we need tariffs. This is why we need what they're trying to do is get Chinese EV vehicles, electric vehicles into America through Mexico. How neat is that? Anyway, so I'm a little skeptical. It is still a point of concern because, again, you have to look at this. Here's this article. Where did it come from? Who provided the information? Who provided the facts for the discussion? Oh, I don't know. I think a company like Anthropic comes to mind. Just saying. Meantime, ladies and gentlemen, as we get smarter about how the liars and cheats and sociopaths function, certainly one of the things you always have to keep in mind is how they will say, oh, I don't see any evidence. Well, that's because you never looked. So now we have what I call the blind mayor of London. That would be Sadiq Khan, right? And he's saying, what grooming gangs? We didn't see any grooming gangs. And he's saying we didn't see any grooming gangs. Well, they're about, what is it now? Let me see here. 4,000 cases under investigation, and he doesn't know of any grooming gangs. That's pretty lame. And I talked about, all right, so there's Connecticut Yankee election fraud. So the op-ed today is a primer, okay, just take you through a few things. Issues concerning illegal aliens, driver's licenses, people who have committed fraud, the patterns in the past. You just go check that out. And then my big send-off for tonight is the food additive of the week, erythritol.
No. The send-off can't be a food additive.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Send-off for
See, this is why he's my executive producer. Yes?
I mean, we're approaching the 4th of July, which is celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country.
Yes.
You want to close out the show with food additives?
Yes.
I mean, you're out of control.
I see. Okay, all right. Well, then I will have to have an addendum. My apologies. Okay, so the point still needs to be made. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been warned. You have been warned about erythritol. You know about erythritol. A rather significant risk of causing heart attacks. Since when does a sugar cause heart attacks like this? I don't know. Erythritol was originally discovered in Finland from birch trees. It's a sugar derived from birch trees. All right, but it's not a very healthy sugar. It's a dangerous sugar, so I'm just letting you know. And yes, by this time next week, we will have started the celebration of America's 250 years as a nation. And even though we sit here and moan and groan about all the communists that seem to be taking over everywhere, starting in New York and LA, we remain optimistic because we're in the fight.